So, would you ever consider quitting your full-time job after your website has made just $50? Well, that's exactly what my guest did. He had a website, made $50, and he was ready to call his job quits. Kelan Kline from TheSavvyCouple.com and his wife Brittany built that site, and early on, as soon as it started showing some success, Kellen was so excited to leave his full-time job that that's just what he did. I'll let him go into the story. Fortunately, they did have some savings, and his wife was still working, but he was ready to go all in with the site, and it's a good thing they did because the site is now generating six figures a year. He shares the specific numbers, including how much traffic the site is getting and a lot of the strategies. And so we dive deep into search engine optimization, link building, and specifically a lot of HARO outreach tactics that you can implement. Another really interesting thing is that TheSavvyCouple.com makes a lot of money from sponsorships. And that's something that we haven't talked a lot about here on the Niche Pursuits podcast. And so I picked Kellen's brain quite a bit to get an idea of where is he finding these people to sponsor and pay for sponsorships on his website, and how does a deal and how do you put together a package to do that. And so we dive into what sponsorships are, how to get them, how much money they're making from doing that, and so much more. And so this is a great interview. Not only is Kellen a great guy, but he's got a lot of great tips for SEO, sponsorships, and Facebook ads. We jump into Facebook ads and how he's actually generating profitable clicks to his affiliate articles. So there's a lot of great takeaways that I think you'll get from this interview. And so I'm really excited to have Kellen on the podcast here today. And if you want to follow along with what he's doing, be sure to go to thesavvycouple.com. Thanks again. Hey, Kellen, welcome to the Niche Pursuits podcast.
Thanks, Spencer. Appreciate it. Excited about it.
Yeah, it's great to connect. We're introduced through a mutual contact here. Just had him on the podcast, actually, right?
Yeah.
So to give people a little bit of your background, and so people can understand, where you're coming from. What's sort of your professional background before you ever started online business? What were you doing?
Sure. So I actually started my first online business when I was 13. So I've been doing it for a while.
Okay.
Just flipping items on eBay. And that's when I first got introduced to making money online. And that changed my life when my dad showed me I could do that. But yeah, other than that, I went to college for business administration. I tried probably 5 or 6 different careers. UPS, I was a salesman for insurance. And then I was a law enforcement. I became a jail deputy for 2.5 years. And that career kind of changed my life and pushed me in the direction of you got to stop working for other people, figure out something on your own. And that's what kind of pushed me into starting my own business.
Yeah.
So kind of like a very vast background.
Yeah. Sounds like you've done, quite a few different things, from UPS to, working in the jail system. And that, whatever that was there, like maybe you didn't like the environment very much working there. Is that kind of what it was?
It was brutal. Yeah. I always dreamt of being a police officer, and that was like an introduction into law enforcement. I was going to go to road patrol. But yeah, I just got in there and the environment was awful. I hated working nights and weekends, holidays, forced overtime, just everything that I didn't want. I wanted more freedom of my time. I knew that we wanted to have a big family and I wanted to be a part of my kids' lives. And it's just a turning point in my life to kind of switch directions and pivot quite a bit.
Yeah, that's for me. It just reminds me of working at my day job a long time ago. It's been 10 years since I had a day job, but
congrats.
Thank you.
Decade.
Yeah, it's been a decade this year. And that was like as I look back at that, the time, the freedom of time really was the biggest thing. It wasn't so much that like I hated my boss or hated coworkers. Like they're all great people, but
right.
Kind of like you're talking about, and I didn't even have it as bad as it sounds like you. I never had to work weekends and holidays and that sort of thing. So I was in the banking industry, but still just, having that schedule you had to keep was just kind of annoying.
Yeah, for sure.
So you already told us kind of how you made your first dollar online. Sounded like you were flipping items on eBay. Did you do anything else like, since you were a teenager, right? Before you started The Savvy Couple, was there anything else that was kind of in between there that you did online business wise?
Yeah. So at 13, I went around the house and pretty much sold everything I could get my hands on. Stuff I wasn't supposed to sell, I'm sure, that my parents didn't know about. Just sold everything and got
Nice.
into the habit of, making money online through selling items, physical items. And then from there, it was like, okay, I don't have any other items to sell. So I need to start sourcing and start drop shipping. So yeah, I started a drop shipping store when I was 15, and that carried out through all of high school, through college. Started drop shipping on Amazon and did that. I think my peak years on Amazon was when I was in college, is about $50,000 in revenue per year. But profit margins on drop shipping is terrible, like 10%. So $5,000 a year,
Right.
kind of some spending money, stay out of debt, going to college. It was perfect and super, super
Hmm.
flexible. So I think that was another just a experiment, and it worked out really nice. An experience that I always thought of every time I had a real job, of like, man, it was really nice to just be able to work from home and be in control of my time. So yeah, I did that stuff throughout college as well.
Yeah. So that's really good exposure to an online business, right? Even though, hey, it's not like quit your day job type money, but it
Right.
gives you some experience, opens you to the world of what's possible online, right? And
Absolutely.
so now you, of course, have started the savvycouple.com. Why did you guys start that in the first place? And I was also going to ask if there's any other websites that you're running as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we have the Savvy Couple. We're coming up on 5 years on that one in July, and we started another niche site in the grilling niche, outdoor grilling niche. This
Nice.
was last June, so we're coming up on a year on that one as
Okay.
well.
All right.
Starting to become profitable, so excited about that. Kind of using what we've learned with the Savvy Couple over the last 4 or 5 years to put into that and outsource most of it. But yeah, so we started the Savvy Couple back in July 2016. There's a point in our life, it was just me and my wife, Brittany, at the time, no kids. And we were just kind of stuck at, like, neither of us are really happy at our jobs, especially me. She was a teacher. She loved teaching, but she knew she wanted to have more freedom as well. So we sat down at the dinner table one night and we said, what business can we start that gives us more freedom, and kind of designed our dream life of having more freedom in life, financially, and most importantly, time. So we saw a couple income reports. Michelle from Making Sense of Sense making over $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
Bobby Hoyt, another teacher, making $10,000 a month, and the wheels just started spinning. So I think within a month or two, we started our site and we came up with a name, and we just dove headfirst into it for 9 months, nonstop working on it, figuring out, getting over the blogging learning curve, which is huge when you're first starting out. And on that ninth mark, we got a sponsorship for $50, and it changed everything. We proved that we could make some money
Right.
through our own online business. So 2 weeks later, and we were saving money like crazy, paying off debt, still working full-time jobs. 2 weeks later, I went to Brittany and I said, hey, I'd really like to quit my job and do this full-time.
Wow.
And she's an amazing wife, and she was sick and tired of hearing me complain about all my jobs, and she blessed me and said, absolutely, let's do it. So took the leap after making $50, and we turned it, over the last 4 years, we've turned it into a multiple six-figure business, allowing her
Wow.
to quit her job and completely change our life. Absolutely. Super blessed.
So it was making it had made $50 essentially when you quit your
$50.
job. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we were still
Wow.
in the hole, obviously, because there's
Yeah.
expenses as well. But yeah,
That's a
took
brave
the leap.
move. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is definitely a leap of faith.
for sure.
Um, and so, but now it's, making significant money. Like you said, what did you say? Like what will it do, maybe in the last 12 months, in a year time frame, do you
Yeah.
think?
So 2019, we hit sponsorships hard, which we can dive into. We did
Yeah.
over 100,000 in sponsorships alone.
Wow.
That year, we did $250,000 in revenue. Last year, it was a little bit lower than that because of COVID and people pulling out their marketing budgets and whatnot. But this year, we're already on pace to hit the 250 again, if not higher,
That's
in revenue.
huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. So, okay, let's dive into like how did you make this happen? Obviously, you had the focus. I mean, you quit your job, so you're kind of like you got to make this work, right?
Yeah.
Um, but what really established traction for you? What was some of the early keys to success? What really helped you get the ball rolling?
I always like to mention that we had our finances in order, because I feel like you need to in order to quit your job and like do this full time and not have any income coming in. So we did our best to pay off as much debt as possible. We still had about 25,000, which we ended up paying off within 5 months with the blog a year later. But we had a year's worth of salary saved up, and we were just very frugal and had a budget, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, after I quit my job, within 2 months, I worked for VIP Kid teaching Chinese students English, making $20 an hour. I would do that for 3 hours in the morning just to make some type of income coming in. I got a digital marketing job that was very flexible, like 10 hours a week. And then any other time was directed towards the business. But I was getting paid to learn digital marketing. So it was a win-win. Yep. So I wanted to mention all that before I dive into kind of what's worked. Yeah. So from there, Brittany and I would just pump out as much content as possible. Kind of not a very good strategy nowadays. We're very SEO driven, and everything has a purpose. Everything's solving a problem. Where I think our first article on the site was how to make the most out of Steelers training camp, which has nothing to do with personal finance. But we kind of just, we have the personnel. I have the personality to just go for it, and you can pivot and collect the data and then make changes as you go on. But a big one was we were a very big lifestyle brand at the time. We were doing a lot of Pinterest stuff. We were big fans of Chasing Foxes, which is just a lifestyle magazine type of blog. And we learned Pinterest, everything we possibly could about Pinterest, making roundup posts, how to use certain tools to pin automatically for us. And in our heydays, we were at 300,000 pages a month, and like 200,000 of that, or if not more, was Pinterest.
Wow.
So nice. Those lifestyle articles. But over the years, and that's what really helped us take off. We had stuff go viral. We had a Dave Ramsey article get 100,000 page views in a month in January.
Nice.
Just absolutely insane.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy stuff on Pinterest. And then over the years, we've slowly transitioned away from the lifestyle brand, kind of really focused our niche down to the personal finance and worked on SEO mostly. So yeah, I was just getting a lot of traffic and diving headfirst into Pinterest to start things.
Yeah. So what would you say your traffic breakdown is now between, SEO traffic and Pinterest and anything else?
Yeah, so we do about around 100,000 in session or page views in Google, so SEO traffic. We'll do about 50 to 60 in Pinterest, and then depending on the month, we'll have another 25 to 40,000 from Facebook ads. Okay.
So you're running some Facebook ads there as well. So, so well over half of your traffic, it sounds like, is from Google SEO at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that have you found that Pinterest is just a lot harder now? It's been my experience in the last couple of years for sure. There's been a lot of changes that make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, before it was like just a fire hose, and they would just pour traffic on you, and it's gotten extremely difficult. I don't think we have any pins scheduled to go out anymore. We kind of just,
manually do it all,
set it and forget it. Yeah. And don't really promote a lot of stuff on Pinterest anymore. We've kind of not given up on it, but put it on the way back burner and focus more on search engine traffic. Because at the end of the day, you want evergreen traffic coming in so you can make passive income and potentially have an exit strategy long term. So definitely better ROI to focus on the search engine traffic.
Yeah. So I want to jump into that SEO, some of your strategies. We're going to jump into link building, that sort of thing. But first, before we do, you mentioned sponsorships. You mentioned, hey, that's how you made your first money. You made like 6 figures in 2019 from sponsorships. I don't know that I've had a guest on the podcast that's really talked about sponsorships very much. And I know it's pretty common in the financial niche, in lots of other spaces, right? There's a lot of sort of bloggers out there. They get paid sponsorships to do different things. So why don't you give listeners an idea of like, what does a typical sponsorship deal look like? And maybe we'll talk about how you scaled that a little bit as well.
Sure. So it's a lot of it's outreach, and you're basically getting your audience in front of you've built trust and authority with your audience and affinity that you want to get in front of other brands, and they want to pay you for that. It's micro influencing. where you have the trust and authority that you can get in front of their audience and kind of make conversions a lot easier. So it's, we've made a list of 100 companies that we said, okay, the Savvy Couple would be a perfect partnership with this company, Excel sheet. We rated, like, we have kind of columns that show, okay, how hard would it be to partner with them? Are they a huge brand that's like impossible? Or are they someone that's, a smaller business that we have the email for already and stuff like that? And then it's creating a system. So I'd have an email template of an outreach email template that basically says, hey, we're a blog with 300,000 page views a month. We, X, Y, and Z, this is what our brand's all about. We'd love to partner with you and get you in front of our audience. I think it'd be a win-win for everybody. And sending those out from time to time. But what really helped us kind of scale, like you said, is finding brands that wanted to work on big marketing packages, the 5-figure, over $10,000 sponsorship packages with multiple articles, multiple Facebook ads, the whole shebang, if you will, with marketing and getting their brand in front of ours.
Yeah. So give us an idea of what a package might look like, right? So let's say somebody does order a $10,000 package. What does that look like? And if you're willing to share, like, one of the companies that has done or worked with you, or the type of company, just to give people an idea, is this like a local water park, or is this, what is this,
Yeah. So companies we're talking about are like Skillshare, Airbnb, Chime Bank, Ally Bank, bigger brands, some credit repair companies. And a package would, it's all about having empathy, just like a business owner, and figuring out what the other person wants in the deal. So having that conversation either over the phone or the email, and like literally asking them, what would a perfect brand sponsorship be with us? And they'll tell you, okay, we want tons of brand awareness, or we want a lot of new customers and conversions. The brand awareness one is super easy because you just have to run Facebook ads and get them in front of your audience, where conversions obviously are a little bit more difficult, kind of like affiliate marketing.
So talk about that. So if talk about the Facebook ads that you might run, like they pay you money and then you're running Facebook ads. Where do you run that? To your like article that you wrote up on their company, or?
Correct. So it'd be going back to our site, and it's right at the top. It says, this is a sponsored article by X, Y, and Z, 100% our opinion. And then you market them within the article and make conversions that way as well.
Okay.
So a typical package would be, a couple articles. We do socially geared articles. So like 5 money habits your parents should have taught you, or 7 habits millionaires do every day. And then market through that type of article. And then we also do SEO articles, so we can write up a review and have them sponsor the review. We're very cautious about that because obviously we're writing a review, so we want to make sure that they agree it's going to be 100% honest. We're not going to be biased in any way.
Might have some cons in the article.
For sure. And then from there, I like to use our email list. We have an email list of 35,000. So we definitely put that in our package because that's where we kind of really built a personal relationship with our audience. I've been really successful with Facebook ads on driving traffic, with between 5 to 3 cents per click to the article. Just using Ad Espresso, which is a really, really awesome tool. The Penny Hoarder used to use it, and they make a ton of money through affiliate marketing and Facebook ads. So we kind of learned off of them. So kind of just packaging all together, packaging in our reach on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pinterest, and now YouTube. So kind of putting a whole package together and making it very valuable to them.
Yeah. Do you have
the most money out of them?
Yeah. Do you have a page on your site that like lists out what your advertising rates or sponsorship rates are? And
great question.
Would you be okay if listeners check that out, or?
So we do not.
Okay.
And the reason we don't is because I've learned it's just it's like another negotiation. So if you have those rates, you could be leaving thousands of dollars on the table.
That's true.
If I were to cut myself off at $2,500 and there's a company willing to pay $10,000, I just lost $7,500.
That's a good point.
So I always ask them what's your marketing budget you're willing to work with, and they will tell us. And I always ask for more. And most of the time they don't run away, and they're willing to pay it. So definitely treat it as a negotiation. And I am a big fan of not having any rates that are typical rates. If they ask, what's your typical package look like, you can give them a range. It starts at $2,000 and goes up to 25.
Right.
Not that we've ever had one that big, but you can kind of do it
I'm
that
sure
way.
you could create one that was worth
Right.
25,000, right? Like
Uh-huh.
just add
Yep.
more posts or add more emails or right.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that. That's an
Yep.
interesting approach to that for sure. So you're able to do these sponsorship deals. It's generating a lot of revenue. Um, is there anything else related to sort of sponsorship deals, like just tips or strategies in general that you think listeners might be worth, listening to?
Yeah, I think you hit the head on the nail. The biggest one is not having rates,
Yeah.
and knowing that you have to reach out to these companies. Very rarely, maybe 10% of the companies that we work with on sponsorship level actually reach out to us and are looking for sponsorships. And then another trick that we've used over the years are looking at other bloggers within our niche and seeing who they're partnering with. Because if they're going to work with them, they're obviously looking for other partnerships and more likely looking for other partnerships that you can kind of find the brands that have the marketing budget to work with. So you can save a lot of time looking at that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Do you ever use influencer networks at all? Like, there's tons of them out there,
Yeah,
IZEA and
we haven't in the last like 2 years, so not
okay,
anymore. We used to get like $50 tweets that we used to be able to send
right.
out, and that was awesome because it'd take a minute to put a tweet out. But yeah, we haven't used those in years.
Okay. And no, that sounds good. And just to clarify for listeners, they probably get a lot of emails that are basically spam that, hey, I'll pay for a link, type thing on your site. That is not what we're talking about, like
No,
at
yeah,
all, right? Like these
yeah,
companies are not paying for a link, right? They want exposure, and big brands do this, right? Like name a brand in the world, Fortune 500 companies, they are doing sponsorship deals with bloggers and influencers just to
yeah,
get their brand awareness up.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely, stay away from paid links. Anytime you do a
Yep.
sponsorship, it's got to be a no follow link. Yeah, obviously, with
Yep.
with SEO, you don't want to mess with that.
Yep. So
Yep.
wanted to bring that up to clarify. So let's jump into SEO.
Yep.
It's well over half your traffic is coming from SEO. It sounds like that's where you're focused. You want the evergreen content, which makes a ton of sense, right? Hopefully you can have a few articles that are just generating revenue for years to come. So link building, do you feel like that's been the biggest reason for your success, or is that just a piece of it?
Um, I truly think SEO, you can break it down into two categories. It's creating the best content on the internet and getting backlinks. If you want to simplify it as much as possible. So yeah, I think getting backlinks and getting mentions on places like Forbes and Business Insider are huge, especially in the personal finance niche. So I think it goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's jump into link building. I agree 100% that you got to have great content, right? Like it's just, you have to have it.
Yep.
Google is so smart now about reading pages and understanding if it's really answering the query that people have, it's really an authoritative piece, right? So that's just a must have. So links, what have been some of your biggest link building strategies that have worked really well?
Um, great question. So we take the approach, we've read, I think Richmond, your other guest, that's a good friend of ours, he mentioned the Dream 100 to us about a year ago. We kind of, just like our sponsorships, our Dream 100 companies we want to work with, Dream 100, meaning people within our network that we would like to collaborate with, write guest posts with, possibly do backlinks with, and kind of working down your list that way. That's been really big for us in the last year or so, just kind of broadening our backlink profile quite a bit. But the thing that's really driven our SEO and getting our domain authority up to over past 50, I think it's at a 53 now on Ahrefs, is HARO and just making a habit of answering HAROs almost every single day, even though it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But we've gotten, and through networking and HARO, we've gotten a full feature on Forbes. We've been mentioned as personal finance experts on Forbes. We've been on Business Insider, Bank Rates, NerdWallet, the Penny Hoarder, like
Wow.
huge players within our niche. And it's been huge getting those backlinks.
So how do you do that? Because, there's hundreds of people out there responding to HARO every day, right? So, I mean,
Yep.
that's just, that's sort of your price to entry, right? Is like
Yeah.
you gotta be consistent, right?
Yeah.
But beyond that, like, did you have any connections with any of these people at Forbes or NerdWallet or Penny Hoarder or anything like
Yeah. So
that?
the only one that we've had a connection with was Jeff Rose, and he runs Good Financial Sense, and he is a
Yeah.
Forbes contributor. So we met him at FinCon, which is a financial conference, and then he asked in the FinCon Facebook group, for crazy stories to promote and publish. And it was at the same time Brittany was quitting her job, and we just made 100,000 with our blog. So we put together an article on how this 28-year-old couple quit their jobs and made $100,000 online, and it went viral. It had like 250,000 views. It was his best article he ever wrote. But yeah, connecting and networking with him is how we got on Forbes.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
That makes sense. So we'll
Yep.
jump into a little bit more networking here in a second as well, but let's stick with HARO. So responding every day, what are sort of the strategies? Like, is there a certain way that you pitch, your story or anything like that?
Mm-hmm. So we actually have a HARO guide. I'm happy to give it to your audience if they're listening
That'd
or
be great.
watching. Yeah. So, and it's our exact template that we use, and it's been very, very successful. But we basically make sure that we have, a habit of answering them every day. We make it as easy as possible for a publisher or the editor to kind of take our quote and put it right into their article, because you don't want to give them extra work because they'll probably not use it. So it's basically looking through the queries as quickly and as efficiently as possible, figuring out the ones that we can be experts in and be quoted from, and we can give them a good answer and help them improve the article they're working on. And then it's basically we use a Google template that we pop into Gmail. It basically says, hey, my name is Kelan Kline, personal finance expert that's been mentioned on all these sites, right into the pitch on what we're answering. And then we give them images that they can use. We give them our blog URL. We let them know we're happy to share on our social media, add them to our press page, make it as easy as possible for them.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they're going to get so many different responses. And then another thing on top of that is, if you can, be one of the first people to answer, and be one of the top answers that they get, is going to help you get those quotes and mentions and backlinks.
Yeah, I really like how you mentioned really giving them benefits as well, right? Like, they're just asking for a quote, but you're making it easy to say, hey, you might get listed on my press page. We're going to share it on social media. Like, we're going to actually drive some traffic. We're going to get you a link type thing, right?
Yep.
And so they're like, oh, that could definitely stand out, right? Over somebody
Yep.
that just gives a raw quote.
For sure.
Right.
Yep.
Plus the images and everything. So great tips on that. Anything else that you found sort of works well with HARO when you're doing your pitches?
So the subject lines, we always, because they're going back to the person's email, which is most everyone's email is flooded with stuff and spam. So we literally say HARO response and then the topic that it is, so they know exactly what they're going to get by opening, and they're looking for the responses. So that's helped quite a bit as well.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of success rate do you see? How many pitches do you have to throw out there in order to get an actual live link?
Yeah, my wife Brittany is much better at getting them than I am. She's a better writer than I am, and she's a perfectionist, so she spends time where I'm just like, do it as quick as possible. But yeah, so she's probably batting around like 25%, and I'm a little bit below that. But yeah, we have pretty good success.
That's
We
really
try
good
to get
success rate.
at least 1 or 2 mentions or backlinks a week through HARO, and it's worked out pretty well.
Wow. That's really good. And like you
Yeah,
said, it can be some big ones too, right?
you're
Like
right.
there's
And when you make a habit of answering them, you'll start seeing the same people that are looking for quotes, and you'll start to build that relationship, and relations through everything. So it just continues to kind of snowball once you get the ball rolling and get a couple.
Yeah, when you start seeing that, a few people that are, pitching every day or every week or whatever, do you start then kind of reaching out to them personally and like connecting with them like outside of HARO?
Yeah, through email, or we might follow them on LinkedIn. Just another point of contact to put our name in front of their face again, or we'll go out of our way to make sure that we share it and we show them that we put it on our press page. Just make it more valuable for them.
Yep.
And it's really helped out that way.
And so you talked about networking, that's one way, even through HARO, you're able to kind of build some relationships there. What else has worked well in terms of networking that eventually, can lead to links and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so Facebook groups have been really big. Just, answering people's questions, just chipping in here and there. Reaching out to people through Facebook Messenger, I think, is way more personal than an email. So we use Facebook Messenger quite a bit to reach out to people in our niche and kind of build that relationship with. Uh, Instagram is another one. So we follow a lot in our niche. And when they're on their stories, we'll kind of watch their stories just out of habit and reach out to them and respond to them and just get in front of them over and over, build that relationship, and then kind of work our way into kind of working with them type of thing.
So what you're saying is that you're not getting links by firing up a software tool that can send out 1,000 emails in a day with the same template email. That's not the trick. Is that?
No, we've never done that.
Oh man, that's a lot of work. You got to actually
It is.
network.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a lot of work. But I think making those meaningful relationships, and it's not just about backlinks either. We do email freebie exchanges. So, we reach out to another one within our niche and say, hey, we got our marriage money boot camp. We'll give to our audience for free. We usually sell for $47 in our shop. What can you give our audience? And we'll do an email freebie exchange and grow our list by 500 to 600 people in one day, just by doing that.
I love it. That's a great
Yeah,
idea, right? Sort of
just
an email
growth
swap,
hacks. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you can find enough people that are willing to do that, yep, like you said, I can grow it quite a bit.
For sure.
Um, so how important is email to your business? I guess, you, yeah, I want to dive into email, but just to clarify kind of the breakdown of revenue sources, right? You've got certainly some affiliate sales happening, right? I don't know if you had ads on your site as well, like,
We do.
okay. Yeah, like display ads. Then you've got sponsorships. And then I think you have like digital courses, right? Or digital
Yeah.
products. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How much of it is sort of digital products that you have created?
Yeah. So this year, a couple years ago, when we were so set in stone on sponsorships, we knew like you're only able to get partnered with so many companies before it kind of runs dry, or you need to come up with new strategies. So we knew we needed to diversify because our income that year was probably 60% sponsorships. So we've diversified quite a bit over the last 2 years. I believe this year we're at like 65% digital products and courses. And then affiliates would probably be like 15%. And then the other, I think 20% or whatever is going to be ads and sponsorships from
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
But yeah, we focused heavily on creating an email opt-in, getting them on our email list, selling them products. And then we also run Facebook ads directly to our digital products as well. And that's done very well.
Yeah. Um, and so, yeah, let's talk about the digital products just a little bit. So at least for me, like being able to have an email list and of course your own products, but having your own email list just helps me sleep better at night, right? Because you went through the whole Pinterest thing where Pinterest was like a fire hose and now it's a little bit more difficult, right? Google's kind of the same way, right? Like sometimes traffic is amazing and then sometimes like, oh, you're not ranking anymore for this particular keyword. But when you have an email list, like you own that, right? Is that
Right.
a similar feeling for you as well?
Yeah, for sure. It helps you sleep at night, like you said. It gives you control. It's the one thing that you have control over, and it's the one platform that you can talk directly to your readers and avatar. So yeah, it's I think it's very important for us. SEO and affiliate marketing ads and Facebook ads, all that stuff probably makes us more money. We probably don't make a crazy amount from our email list, but
Okay.
if we're ever having a low month with sponsorships or Facebook ads or whatever it is, if we're ever in a low month, we can literally start a launch on our email list and sell our products or run a sale and make thousands of dollars by just, writing a few emails and sending them out type of thing.
Right. Absolutely. So you've mentioned Facebook ads a few times. So let's jump into that a little bit. You said you're actually able to generate profitable sales from your Facebook ads.
Mhm.
What does that funnel kind of look like? I mean, are you just taking people directly to the sales page, or do you have a whole, process?
Yeah. So we've had success with giving a freebie, our budget template. It's super colorful. It's super easy to use for people that are just getting into budgeting. And then from there, there'll be a tripwire for our budgeting binder. So that's worked really well. And then we also have a couple bundles. We'll have a financial bundle and a Chaos to Control bundle, which is more of like a home management bundle that we run directly to the customer, to our sales page on Lead Pages to get sales that way. And those will range anywhere from 3x ROI to 2x to 1.5x, depending on the day. But we found a couple campaigns that are just evergreen that we're kind of scaling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so is that kind of the challenge is being able to scale then, right? Because yeah, maybe you're able to get a couple sales here and there and it's profitable, but can you find more people like that?
Exactly. Yeah. It's scaling. It's, coming up with new creative ways to get people's attention through the ads. It's managing them. It's turning off the ones that aren't working. It's a lot of work. But like I said, the Ad Espresso tool that we use has been a lifesaver in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. And how did you learn? Just trial and error?
Trial and error, lots of trial and error. And we've taken 2 courses, one that's not offered anymore, and then one through Monica Louie, Flourish with Facebook Ads,
Yeah,
to
I
kind
know
of learn.
Monica. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good friend of ours too. And she has a great course. So we've learned a lot from her.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to kind of learn, is that what you'd recommend, is maybe, check out Monica's course or anything else?
Yeah, I think when you're trying to learn anything, it's best to learn from the experts. It's especially with paid traffic. You don't want to be experimenting and wasting tons of money when you could pay a couple $100 and learn from an expert,
Mm-hmm.
and save yourself, lots of time and effort and frustration.
Yeah. And so beyond just sending people to your digital products, you're also sending, Facebook traffic to other pages. Can you explain kind of what you're doing there and how that is profitable for you guys?
Yeah, so we keep track of how much we make per article, depending on how much the RPM is for Mediavine on that certain article. We'll track our affiliate links to see how much money we're making on our affiliate links on that article. But we'll basically run ads to it, and we will know that we need to have our cost per click down at a certain amount in order to be profitable. And it's a little bit narrow-minded because there is, people can join our email list and buy products later on. So the lifetime customer value is much different, which we haven't been very good at tracking that as well. So we're kind of just testing apples to apples of like, can we get the cost per click down enough to be profitable with just ads or just affiliate links type of thing.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah. Yep. We've been doing that. That was kind of a growth hack we used when Pinterest started to go south. We took, Monica's course and learned Facebook ads and realized that the penny hoarder does it and made millions of dollars doing the exact same thing of running Facebook ads, getting people to click links and making commission. So just learning, lots of learning with this blogging thing.
That's fascinating. I've known that the penny hoarder did that and that other people kind of do that. But I'll be honest, I guess I'd never taken the time to actually learn the Facebook ads enough to make a profitable article, right? Just with affiliate links. So that's fascinating to me, that you're able to do that. Have you found that helps at all with SEO, like sending more traffic to a certain page, like you start to rank better?
So not specifically SEO, but there was with Pinterest, when one of our articles was going viral, I had the idea of like, maybe I should run a Facebook ad to it because obviously it's a good article, socially geared article that's getting traffic. So we started running Facebook ads to it, and it continued to just absolutely go viral. That was that Dave Ramsey article in the beginning of January where it was, getting hundreds of thousands of page views. And we started running Facebook ads to it to kind of extend that virality as well. So that worked well with that. But yeah, specifically with SEO, I haven't really seen a correlation.
Okay. Yeah. Any other interesting things you're doing with like paid traffic or just other tips that you want to share? I mean, it's fascinating, right? If somebody can essentially you could have, a site that's not getting any SEO traffic and potentially have a profitable site if you're able to dial in an ad that goes to a landing page that makes money, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think if you're just starting a niche site and you can come up with a digital product that solves, your reader's main problem, you could potentially run ads to it, and like you said, make some money while your site's kind of growing with the SEO traffic.
Yeah. Have you tried anything like that with your newer niche site in the grill niche, I think you said?
Yeah, not yet. haven't really dove into that. Haven't really touched it much. I know the grilling niche as a whole just got hammered. The spruce eats like ate up all the traffic in that niche. So kind of waiting it out to see if this next Google update's going to help at all. After the one that recently happened with the reviews, the review Google updates helped quite a bit.
It did. Okay.
So once we give it a couple more months, I'll see if we're going to start investing more time and money into it. But for right now, we're just letting it sit,
Yeah.
focusing on the Savvy Couple.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Savvy Couple, how much content are you guys producing a month for the site?
Yeah, good question. So currently we're only at one article a week, but that includes, so we have a team, we have an editor and she's a virtual assistant as well. She'll do many tasks for us, and then a writer. And then it's just me and Brittany. But yeah, we'll produce one article a week and then do one audit per week, so that we're always updating and changing content as well to keep it relevant.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to scale that up, probably do double that in the next couple months here. We used to do 2 articles a week, so 8 articles a month, and it worked out well, but we kind of got overwhelmed. But now that we have better systems and strategy, we'll probably up it to 2 a week, so 8 articles, at least 8 articles a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you know how many articles total you have on the site roughly?
Good question. I think we're around 300.
Okay. Yeah. Rough is fine.
Yeah.
Just give people an idea of the size of the site. Yeah. About 300 articles. So that's good size. So what's your kind of keyword research and content strategy look like in terms of content planning and that sort of thing?
Yeah. So we use Ahrefs to do all of our keyword planning. We took a course and kind of got our mega list of keywords that we go after based on key search volume and domain authority. So if we had a chance to outbeat the people that are ranking on page 1, and we kind of use that to build our content from. And then I just keep a close eye on other people in our niche. And when they publish new articles, I look and see what the keywords, value is with their search volume and keyword difficulty, and continue to add to the list and pull from it.
Right.
And it's organized, it's in Excel, and then we use Asana project management software to run the team with. But basically I sort it by keyword difficulty, search volume, and then how relevant it is to our brand. And then we'll kind of pull off a list based on that.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking at a lot of keyword difficulty. Do you try to find sites that sort of have a lower domain authority than you guys? And if they're kind of ranking, is that kind of what you're looking at? You're like, okay, we got a keyword and I see that, hey, there's a couple of either newer sites or easier to beat
back when we
there.
First started focusing on SEO, we definitely did that. A lot more longer tail keywords and way lower domain authority to cut outreach. But now that we're in the 50 range, we're ranking for stuff that we shouldn't be, and it's in the high domain authority, outranking the balance.com or the penny hoarder, stuff like that. So I don't really look at, I'm not going after keywords that are absolutely insane, like best banks or best credit cards, but stuff within our niche, I know that we can build backlinks to and outrank. It's pretty much wide open now.
Yeah. That's good. So what type of article length, are pretty much all your articles like these monster long articles at this point, or what does that look like?
It depends on what the competition's doing. So we have a system, we kind of view what's ranking on page 1 and figure out how we can put a different twist on it, add infographics, add a video to it, figure out what keywords they're ranking for, the long tail keywords, secondary keywords, the average length of the articles on page 1, and kind of make ourselves at least competitive as far as length. So yeah, most of our articles are at least 1,500 words, and we will publish 3,000 word articles almost every time, or similar to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then, at that point, like you said, you're looking at what competition is doing, making sure you're better or best,
for sure,
the best listing there on the first page. And then it comes down to kind of link building, right? Do you try to build links to every single new article that you publish, or what does that look like?
We'll definitely do interlinking, and we got to jump on a link whisper.
That's right.
It's something that we really do. It's an awesome program. We've researched it quite a bit. It's definitely one we're going to add to our team here recently or soon.
Yep. Makes it a lot easier.
For sure. So yeah, right now it's just interlinking mostly, and backlinks. We just try to get backlinks to our homepage mostly. There's a couple articles that are very specific that we'll try to get, if they have high search volume and they're very relevant to a lot of the articles. A pillar post, we'll try to get specific backlinks to that. But other than that, it's just homepage links and interlinking.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Any other link building or SEO strategies that I didn't bring up that maybe I should have, that's kind of working well for you guys, or did we cover it?
I think we covered most of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think another thing that can set you apart with SEO, because everyone can copycat content or make it very similar and build backlinks. I think more and more as this gets more and more competitive, especially in the personal finance niche where you're competing with companies that have millions and millions of dollars, is making your site as user friendly as possible, and making it unique with either visuals or YouTube videos. And we've been going pretty hard on YouTube this year, publishing one video a week and making them very keyword specific, SEO driven. And we'll go into like more fun stuff down the road. But right now it's strictly for SEO
Right.
to improve our content. And that's helped a lot.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
how big's your channel now? Like, how many subscribers you guys got?
We just got over 3,000.
Okay. And
Yeah.
when did you really kind of start putting effort into it?
The start of this year. But I
Started.
think
Oh, wow.
I think we started with about 1,500 before that. So we've
Okay.
added about 1,500 in
Yeah.
4 months or so.
No, that's good. Yeah. YouTube is for sure easier to rank for
Yep.
right? Like if you are going to do keyword specific videos, and yeah, it's a whole other ball game. That's really interesting, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yep.
untapped potential there.
Yeah. And you can
But,
get creative and show off your personality and just add value to your content that others can't compete with,
right.
because they're either not comfortable in front of the camera or they just don't have the time and effort to do so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
So that's good. Yeah, you've got a very multi-prong approach, right? You've got Facebook ads, you've got Pinterest, you've got SEO, now YouTube, right? And kind of building a real brand. I think you're right. Google sees all of that and they know that this is really an article that should be read by somebody that appears to be very authoritative in the niche, right?
Yep. Exactly.
So
Yep.
that helps. So if you were to give some advice to like a newer person just getting started out that wanted to jump into blogging, like what's kind of one big piece of advice that you would give them?
Be prepared for a big learning curve. And I think something that really helped us kind of get through the first year of not seeing any success. And, if you're going to start a niche site or any type of site, it's going to be a good 12 months where you see a lot of success. So be prepared to grind a little bit, and have a big why. Our why was to quit our jobs and, be at home with our kids and that was a huge motivating factor. I had our daughter when Brittany was still working, and I was hustling my butt off to make enough money to be able to have Brittany quit her job. And thank God we did, because I couldn't handle 2 kids and running a business for myself. But yeah, have a big why, stay motivated, focus on SEO from the beginning, and really build, a brand and something that you can make a lot of money with and potentially have an exit strategy long term.
Yeah, great tips. When your wife quit her job, so you both finally were full time, you kind of reached that point. Was there any way that you guys sort of celebrated, or have you like celebrated, like, hey, we made it kind of thing?
We're not good at that. We definitely need to do that more often. I can't remember if we went on vacation or not. But yeah, the month leading up to her leaving her job, and we were talking about the whole year, we made more money in that month than she would made the entire year on her job. So we were
Holy
like, holy
cow.
crap, this is God saying she needs to leave this year.
Yep.
And we were just blessed, and it's worked out really well. But yeah, we need to be better at celebrating the small wins and the big wins for sure.
That's right.
It's hard to do as an entrepreneur sometimes.
As long as you enjoy it, right? As long as you're enjoying the
Oh,
journey, right?
100%.
That's what's
Yeah.
important. So when you look back at your life when you were working, in the jail system, and it's your life now, like, how do you compare the two?
Oh, it's literally night and day. And at the jail, I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. I fell into a deep depression. I was miserable, hated my life, felt stuck, felt like I lost my personality and my identity. So yeah, it is night and day. Life is amazing. I wake up every day excited to get to work, to impact the world, to grow our business, and just spend quality time with our family. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yep. Couldn't say it better. I mean, here we are, we're just a couple of guys. I'm working in my basement. You're working in your house, right?
Yeah.
We're comfortable, kind of work our own hours, just get a chat business and, get a log into Google Analytics and like see that our business is still doing well. Like
Yeah.
it really is, it is nice. And I have to pinch myself, even though it's been 10 years for me, that it's just like, we have it really well. We're really
Yeah.
blessed. And
Yep.
so hopefully listeners that are out there can take some of these tips, right? And appreciate that this is very real. This
Yep.
is things that they can apply in their lives and grow a blog or build a niche site. And
Yep.
there's very real money to be made out there. So
Yep. Just take the dive and go for it. Put in the
abs-
work.
absolutely. So
Yep.
if people want to follow along with you and maybe get that free HARO guide,
Yeah.
where's a couple places they can go to do that?
I'll give you the link for the HARO guide to make it easy for
Perfect.
them.
Yep. I'll put that
And
in the show
then,
notes.
yeah, and then to find us, you can go to thesavvycouple.com, and we're on all social media platforms: Pinterest, SEO, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We'd love to have you join our family here.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelan, so much for coming on the podcast. It's been a pleasure getting to know you and really happy to hear of all your success and hope it continues to go well.
Thanks, Spencer. It was an honor. Thank you.
Thanks again.